All right. Hello, hello, hello. This is something new
All
I'm
right.
trying.
Oh, hello, hello.
Okay.
This,
Technical difficulties start already. Um I am well, firstly I'm here we're going to talk about the Joker, but I am trying something new. Um just sort of I'll get on here, I'll be live, and we'll just talk. So it may be about movies, it may be politics, it may be the comic book series I'm working on, I'm developing. You can actually go get issue one right now at theeverborn.com. Um, Everborn store, sorry, everbornstore.com. And we'll see how it goes. This is just a way for me to sort of connect with everyone. Okay, so let's start talking about Joker movie. I saw it on Thursday after Comic Con, and I have thoughts. So I think, firstly, I would probably say, like, let's address the elephant in the room. Is it better than Nolan's Joker or Heath Ledger's Joker? And I don't know if you can make that comparison, but I will say, oh, Courtney, hello, what's happening? But I'll say that I think that Ledger still holds the crown. Let's say that. Oh, Jason, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? It's weird. It's weird to do this again, but let's everybody, you know, try to get used to it. But so I think Ledger still holds the crown for most interesting Joker on screen, at least. You know, there are a ton of comic book stories that we won't get into now. Um, but overall, I think it was a good movie. But I have some questions, and I'll ask you guys this: if this movie, if you've seen it, and I don't know the answer to this, if this film has did not have the name Joker on it, would it still be interesting? Would it still be something that is worth anybody's time? And I don't know that I necessarily have the answer to that. But I will say that it brought up, it was an interesting mirror that the film placed on, I guess, society, right? And we'll get into that more. But before we do, I kind of want to talk about some of the controversy that was around it. So a lot of people, first of all, they were afraid that something may happen um, at this film because of the subject matter, which is, um, lonely, dare I say, like incel, white guy goes crazy, and are we glorifying that? And is it responsible to make a film that glorifies that? And I feel like a lot of people jumped into their specific corners about it before seeing the movie, right? So it was weird because I saw a lot of people, like, they review films for a living, and before they saw the movie, they say no, it isn't responsible to do this, um, because people could take it the wrong way, and crazy people or people on the right will empathize this with this, and um it we don't want to lionize anyone like this. And the other flip side of it would be, um this is a thing that's happening in reality, right? Sort of the textbook loner who feels like society isn't paying attention to him and wants to take out his misfortune on the world. And so should we lionize people like that? And is it responsible to do this? And my answer to that is, it is not the filmmaker's problem to decide how people are going to interpret their art, right? It should have no bearing when you're creating something, whether how people are going to take it or not. That's not the artist's job. You make the film, or you make your artwork or your music, and whatever people choose to do with it, they're going to do that. Because if someone's crazy and they want to do something bad, and they try to say it is because I watched this movie or I listened to this song, in my opinion, they probably were going to do that anyway. So you can't take that into account when you make art. Now, that's just where I stood before I walked into the movie. And then I got to the movie, and in watching it, I sort of felt like I didn't know how to feel about it as a film. A lot of it was, it was just random things happening. And, a lot of people said they must have had to use a lot of CG on this thing because they made it look like old New York. And I say, no, it was just in the Bronx. Those steps are in the South Bronx. You can go there right now. They didn't do anything. The Bronx is not as gentrified as some of the other boroughs are. So we'll I guess, that is what that is. Now, if anyone is asking, is there or was there a message to the film? I know the film was trying to highlight something, but I don't know if the film took a position on it, which is, the Joker, when he's in full form at the end of the movie, gives this monologue. And he talks about how the one percenters, in this case, it would be Robert De Niro or Thomas Wayne, the one percenters decide what's funny, and the one percenters ignore you, and people get what they deserve. And, that sort of sounds like what you hear about when you hear one of these tragedies happening on the news. It sounds like what a lot of these guys say. But what it also sounds like is what maybe you'll hear a lot of sort of right-wing pundits say, that the liberal media decides what is and what isn't funny. And I hate using words like cancel culture and things like that, but it was pointing a finger to that. And in this film, they paint Thomas Wayne as a one percenter, as an elite, and he calls the people, this sort of amalgamation of maybe an Occupy movement or something like that. He calls them clowns, which is clearly a reference to Hillary Clinton calling, Trump supporters deplorables. And so he calls them clown, and now they wear that as a mantle. So I wonder if this is sort of Warner Brothers or Todd Phillips targeting that audience, or is is this just the position that is this something they want, the Todd Phillips wants to shine a light on, or is he saying, you know, um, the mass shootings or these other things that we see happening in society, is he blaming that on, you know, the left or whatever it is? I don't know. And the next question is, should a sort of an artist or filmmaker take a side? So is it enough just to shine a light on this thing, or is it or should you take a stance saying, you know, this is wrong, or this is right? So I don't know the answer to that, but what I do know is I see a lot of people saying the film was hollow and it is just a ripoff of Taxi Driver or King of Comedy. And I sort of feel like a lot of that is coming from people that feel like the film is talking down to them. And a lot of those people are liberals, right? And I don't say that as a bad thing. I just say, I don't think you can judge and say a movie has nothing to say just because you don't like what it's saying. Now, that's sort of what you get out of messaging. But as a film, I hear, people on the other side of the spectrum that think it was the greatest thing in the world. And in my opinion, no, it wasn't. It was an average film, and like I said at the beginning, if it didn't have the Joker title, would anyone care? And obviously, there's something to be said about where superhero movies are in Hollywood, and maybe you have to disguise a movie as a superhero movie to tell a story. But I don't know if they were disguising a real film in there, because, there is still a lot of comic booky stuff in there. There's even references to like a sequel, in the way that it ended and the way they did a tie-in to, the birth of Batman, in the alley with the pearls. So I think a lot of people have decided whether they like this film or not before they went into it, and that's the thing that I don't like. But it was not a masterpiece by any stretch of the word. And I heard even Michael Moore said that this was the best film this year, and the only dangerous thing is for people not to watch it, which is weird in itself. But I think there's something there that we should wonder about, and I find it really funny that a lot of reviewers that I respected have sort of just decided whether they liked or didn't like the film solely based on, it feels like, political reasons, which is weird. That said, it was all right. Now, I'd say go see it, but don't go in there thinking you're going to get a Dark Knight or thinking you're going to get a bunch of action, because, basically nothing happens till the last 20 minutes. And yeah, Joaquin Phoenix acted the shit out of it, but there's only so much he could do. I think the movie could have been 30 minutes shorter. And the other thing is, I don't know if this was really Joker. And I say that because, is Joker, the character, someone who should have a backstory? I always felt like what makes Joker work is that we don't know where he came from. And so I think there are moments in the film of sort of, okay, they got it. The scene in the apartment where he locks his two friends in, and obviously the monologue at the end, although it's a bit on the nose. I felt like Keenen Ivory Wayans was going to jump out and say message, but I don't know if we need to see what Joker as a character is doing on his day off. So no matter how well executed it is it based on a flawed premise in the first place? The Joker, in my opinion, works only because he's so mysterious. So I don't think you should pull up the curtain. So, and again, like I said, 7 out of 10. If you guys think anything, leave a comment. I'll answer it after the fact. Yeah, that's sort of what I wanted to say about it, which is it was all right. It's not a reason for people to be so excited about, but it wasn't a bad film. So yeah, and look out for more of these. It's a freewheeling thing. I don't have graphics yet. This is sort of I'm freestyling here, and we'll see what this grows into. Someone just asked me if I'm going to talk about Walking Dead here. That might be the only thing that I don't talk about. But if you want to talk about Succession, I'm happy to do that with you. But yeah, this is not on the reel. This is not the second page. This is just me. I'll probably do these every couple of days, and I could come on here and we'll talk about Trump, or we'll talk about Pelosi, or we'll talk about whatever movies are out, or I could come on here and start doing some coding for the game. It's just whatever, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this talk. I am gonna sign off, but this was fun, and I think this could be good. So I look forward to talking to you guys again, and that's it. Peace.